Hello grade 8 students, I'm Angelito Panuncio, your math teacher for this school year. So your first lesson for this quarter is factors of polynomial. Under factors of polynomials, we have common monomial factors, factors of difference of 2 square, factors of perfect square trinomials, factors of quadratic trinomials, factors of sum or difference of 2 cubes. So these 5 factors of polynomial will be discussed one by one in our next videos. Okay, factoring polynomials is a reverse process of multiplication. When a polynomial is factored, it is rewritten as the product of 2 or more prime factors. But before we proceed, for this lesson, let's have a review regarding special products. Special products. So under special products, we have products of 2 binomial, square of a binomials, square of a trinomials, products of sum and difference of 2 terms, and cube of a binomial. So let's proceed to a product of 2 binomials. Product binomials. So when we say product, it is the result or it is the answer to a multiplication. When we say binomials, it is polynomial with 2 terms. So let's have an example of products of 2 binomials. Let's say our example is 2x plus 1 and the other binomial is 3x plus 2. Using FOIL method, what is 2x multiplied by 3x? 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Then, 2x multiplied by 2. What is 2x times 2? It is 4x. Next, 1 multiplied by 3x. What is 1 times 3x? It is 3x. Next, 1 multiplied by 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Let's simplify this. We have 6x squared. Combining similar term, this one, 4x plus 3x is 7x. Then next, copy number 2. So this is the product of 2 binomials. 2 binomials and the product. Let's have another example. Let's say our example is 5x less 1. Then another binomial is 4x less 3. Using FOIL method again, what is 5x multiplied by 4x? 5 times 4, 20. X multiplied by x, x is squared. Next, 5x multiplied by negative 3. What is 5x multiplied by negative 3? It is negative 15x. Then, negative 1 multiplied by 4x. What is negative 1 times 4x? It is negative 4x. And lastly, negative 1 multiplied by negative 3. What is negative 1 times negative 3? It is positive 3. Let's simplify. We have 20x squared. Combining similar term, this one. Negative 15x less 4x is negative 19x. Then copy number 3. Since it doesn't have similar term. Okay? So this is the product of 2 binomial. 2 binomial and the product. This will be the answer. Okay? So again, this is an example of a product of 2 binomials. So next, let's proceed to square of a binomial. Okay, again, square of a binomials. So square binomials. So when we say square, the expression is raised to 2. Then binomials, a polynomial with 2 terms. So let's have an example. Square. Let's write first a binomial. A binomial, let's say x plus y. 1 term, 2 terms. And square, that's it. Square of a binomial. Next, let's write it in expanded form. X plus y multiplied by x plus y. That is the expanded form. Using FOIL method, x multiplied by x, it is x squared. Next, x multiplied by y, we have xy. Next, y multiplied by x, we have xy. Then last, y multiplied by y, we have y squared. So let's simplify. X squared plus this one, combine similar term, xy plus xy, we have 2xy. Next, copy y squared. So this is the square of a binomial. Since we are in a special product, there is a shortcut in the square of a binomial. So the shortcut is square the first term, get the product of first term and the second term, then twice it. See? Let's try to solve it. Get the square the first term here. X squared. Next, multiply the first term and the second term. Then times 2. X multiplied by y, xy. Times 2, 2xy. Last, square the second term. So what is y times y? It is y squared. So as you can see, this one is the same as our answer using the FOIL method. Okay? So that is the shortcut or the technique in square of a binomials. So let's have another example. Let's say our example is this. 4x plus 3 squared. Square the first term. 4x multiplied by 4x is 16x squared. Next, get the product of the first term and the second term, then twice it. 4x multiplied by 3, 12x times 2, it is 24x. Then last, square the second term of a binomials. So 3 times 3, it is 9. So that is an example of a square of a binomial. This is the answer. Alright, let's have another example. Let's say our example is 5x less 4 squared. The technique is square the first term. 5x multiplied by 5x, we have 25x squared. Then next, get the product of the first term and the second term, then twice it. 5x multiplied by negative 4, negative 20x. Then multiply by 2, it is negative 40x. Then last, square the second term of a binomial. Negative 4 multiplied by negative 4, it is positive 16. So this one is another example of square of a binomial. Again, these are the example of square of a binomials. So next, let's proceed to a square of a trinomials. Trinomials. Okay? Square of a trinomials. So when we say square, an expression is raised to 2. Trinomials, a polynomial with 3 terms. So let's have an example of square of a trinomials. Trinomials, 3 terms. Let's say x plus y plus z. Then square it. That's it, the square of a trinomial. Since we are in a special product, there is another technique in square of a trinomial instead of using FOIL method. So let's proceed to a shortcut or technique in getting the square of a trinomials. So the technique is square the first term, next square the second term, then next square the third term, then next get the combination of the first term and the second term, then multiply it by 2. Another, get the combination of second term and the third term, then multiply it again by 2. Then lastly, combination of first term and the third term, then multiply it by 2. So let's write it in our board. First step is square the first term. So our first term is x, then let's square it. We have x squared. Next, square the second term. Our second term is y. So what is y squared? Okay, the answer is y squared. Next, let's square the third term. So the third term is z squared. For the fourth step, we need to multiply the first term and the second term. Then, let's multiply it again by 2. So x times y, xy. Times 2, we have 2xy. Next, multiply the second term and the third term. Y multiplied by z, yz. Then multiply by 2, we have 2yz. Then last, multiply the first term and the third term. So x multiplied by z, xz. Then again, let's multiply it by 2. So we have 2xz. Yan. So this is the square of a trinomials. Okay? This is the technique or the shortcut method. Since we are in the special product. So let's have another example of the square of a trinomials. Let's say our example is 2x plus 3y plus z squared. So the first step is square the first term. What is our first term? 2x. 2x multiplied by 2x, we have 4x squared. The next step is square the second term. The second term is 3y. So 3y multiplied by 3y is 9y squared. The next step is square the third term. Our third term is z. So therefore, z multiplied by z. So we have z squared. Next, for the fourth step, multiply the first term and the second term. So 2x multiplied by 3y. 2x times 3y is 6xy. However, we multiply it by 2. So our answer is 12xy. Next, for the fifth step, multiply the second term and the third term. So 3y multiplied by z. So 3yz. Then multiply it by 2. We have 6yz. And for the last term, or for the last step, multiply the first term and the last term of our trinomial. So 2x multiplied by z. Then multiply by 2. So 2x times z is 2xz times 2. We have 4xz. So this is our answer now for the square of a trinomial. Gets? So let's have another example of square of a trinomial. So let's say our example is 5a less 2b plus 3c squared. Again, the first step is square the first term. So our first term is 5a. 5a multiplied by 5a, we have 25a squared. Next step is square the second term. So negative 2b multiplied by negative 2b. It is positive 4b squared. Next step is square the third term. So 3c multiplied by 3c. We have 9c squared. And for the fourth step, we multiply the first term and the second term, then twice it, or times 2. 5a multiplied by negative 2b is negative 10ab. Then let's multiply it by 2. We have negative 20ab. Next step, second term multiply to a third term. So negative 2b multiplied by 3c. We have negative 6bc. Then multiply by 2, we have negative 12bc. Then for the last step, multiply the first term and the third term. So our first term is 5a. Our third term is 3c. 5a multiplied by 3c, we have 15ac. Then twice it, we have 30ac. So that is the answer for our square of a trinomial. Again, these are the example of square of a trinomials. So let's proceed to a product of sum and difference of two terms. proceed to a product of sum and difference of two terms. So product, the answer to multiplication, sum or addition, and difference is subtraction. Two terms is a binomial. So let's write it. Let's say x plus y, then x less y. So let's solve it using FOIL method. X multiplied by x is x squared. X multiplied by negative y is negative xy. Then y multiplied by x is positive xy. Then next, y multiplied by negative y is negative y squared. So let's simplify this one. We have x squared, negative xy plus xy is 0. So I cancel out. Then copy negative y squared. So this will be the answer for product of sum and difference of two terms. Since we are in special product, there is technique or shortcut in this lesson. The technique or shortcut is square the first term less square the second term. So let's have an example to a product of sum and difference of two terms. So let's say our example is 2x plus 3, then 2x less 3. So as you can see, 2x, positive 3, then negative 3. So the first step is square the first term, 2x. So 2x multiplied by 2x, we have 4x squared minus square of the second term, 3. What is 3 squared? We have 9. So this will be the answer or the product of sum and difference of two terms. Okay? So let's have another example regarding in this lesson. So let's say our example is 5x plus 4y, then 5x less 4y. The first step is square the first term, 5x. So what is 5x squared? We have 25x squared minus square of the second term. The second term is 4y. So 4y squared. So we have 16y squared. So this will be the answer or product of sum and difference of two terms. Here. Again, these are the examples of product of sum and difference of two terms. Okay, next, let's proceed to a cube of a binomial. So, cube of a binomials. Okay? When we say cube, an expression is raised to 3. When we say binomial, a polynomial with two terms. Let's say x plus y. Then, since it's cube, let's write power of 3 here. So again class, we have a technique or shortcut in these lessons. So the first step is cube the first term. So we have x cubed. And for the second step is to write the product of the squared of the first term and the second term. So we have 3x squared y. And for the third step, to write the product of the first term and the square of the second term. So we have 3xy squared. And for the fourth step, cube of the second term. So we have y cubed. Again, this will be the shortcut of cube of a binomials. So let's have an example regarding in this lesson. Let's say our example is 2x plus 3 cube. So the first step is cube of our first term. So what is 2x cubed? 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, we have 8. Then the variable is x. Then let's cube it. We have 8x cubed. Then for the second step, square the first term. So 2x multiplied by 2x is 4x. 4x multiplied by 3, we have 12x. Then multiply by 3, since in our step is we will thrice it, or we will multiply it by 3. So we have 12x squared multiplied by 3 is 36x squared. Then for the third step, square the second term. 3 times 3, 9. 9 multiplied by 2x, we have 18x. 18x multiplied by 3, we have 54x. Then for the last step, cube of the second term. So 3 times 3, we have 9. 9 times 3, we have 27. So this will be the answer to our cube of a binomial. Gets? So let's have another example in this lesson. So let's say our example is 4x less 1 cube. So again, the first step is cube of our first term. What is 4x cubed? 4 times 4, we have 16. 16 times 4, we have 64. Then our variable is x, therefore we have x cubed. For the second term, or for the second step, square the first term. 4x multiplied by 4x, we have 16x squared multiplied by negative 1. So we have negative 16x squared. Then multiply by 3. So 16, negative 16x squared multiplied by 3. So we have 18. We have 48, negative 48x squared. So therefore, for the second term of our answer is negative 48x squared. That is our second step. Okay, let's proceed to the third step. For the third step, we multiply or we square the second term. For the third step, we square the second term. So negative 1 multiplied by negative 1, we have positive 1. Positive 1 multiplied by 4x is 4x. So 4x multiplied by 3, we have 12x. And then for the last step, cube of our second term. So therefore, negative 1 multiplied by negative 1 multiplied by negative 1. So the answer is negative 1. So this will be the answer to our cube of a binomial. Again, these are the examples of cube of a binomial. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson in this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share to your classmates, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more updates. See you on my next video!